Who do you think is going to win between Alex and Gane?
Ooh, let the better win. But I believe Alex can do that. When I saw him, like, his weight is going up. He's strong enough to, and in stand-up, I believe he will be better. But Gane is a lot of movement.
Who do you want to fight next after this one?
Let's be focused for the next week. That's the problem of many fighters when they think too much earlier.
But who's the contender, the next contender? Still alive?
I really don't care.
You have a very soothing voice.
Thank you, thanks.
He moves a lot, he's fast and this, and I think Alex Pereira will be like more stiff, stable and strong, solid. Ciryl will be more fast, moving around, as is his technique, he's good at that. And then it's gonna be very difficult to Alex Pereira to even get close to the distance to figure out what he can do, like just to get in the distance, you know, to get close to that, to close that distance, which Ciryl will be managing very good to keep the distance, pick apart, get him frustrated. He's good at that. So I think he's a very good matchup for Ciryl.
And Volkov has good technical ability on the feet, and he beat Ciryl Gane in their last fight and did very well on the feet against him as well. So when he finds someone who can really cut off the cage like Pereira and really punish him, Gane hasn't got the first round finish ability that Aspinall does to make him a threat to a guy like Alex Pereira. He also doesn't really have the offensive wrestling game to make him a threat to a guy like Alex Pereira either. He could get it done. He has good backwards movement. He floats around well on the back foot. He does it better than Jamal Hill, if we're being honest. Gane is one of the rare heavyweights that actually really does have a good technical base for the heavyweight division. He just lacks that KO power and lacks that ability to just nuke someone in the first 2 minutes. He's never really been able to do it throughout his entire career. And I would, off the top of my head, I can't think of a time that Gane has got a first 2 minute of the fight finish like a guy like Aspinall or Ngannou has. But Pereira should win this one, actually.
I mean, who else is going to fight though? The division's on its ass. So there's not many big fights to make, is there? So got to do what they got to do. Ciryl Gane, Alex Pereira. Obviously, I'm going to fight the winner of that. So just waiting now to be given the green light, the all clear from the doctors to start training properly again. As soon as we can start training properly again, full contact in the gym, we will be getting a fight date booked to fight the winner. So just waiting for the clearance to be medically cleared now, and then we go. We'll be looking to book a fight as soon as possible.
Heavyweights, but Ciryl Gane in his DNA is a gigantic, bona fide, legit heavyweight that just so happens to be very, very light on the feet, incredibly fast, can move around, you know, all over the place, shaking and baking, jigging and jiving, moving and grooving, whatever else you want to say, right?
Yep.
I think that's a big advantage in this fight here.
Yeah, that's the thing. He kicks so well too. He's not just a guy that's going to be some lumbering heavyweight. I think there's a lot of heavyweights on the roster that Pereira would hands down easily just go out there and KO to death, no problem. This one is a challenge, and I think that's what entices him, whether it was going to be Jones or whether it's going to be Ciryl Gane. You're going for that third belt.
He gets past Ciryl Gane. I think that weight is real. Could he 100%, in particular in that division. But nobody has really finished Ciryl Gane, and his movements is very problematic. Pereira also does get hit tomorrow. Now, can you take a heavyweight's punch? Now you're talking about Francis Ngannou power? A real big heavyweight?
You are right, Henry. Ciryl Gane is no slouch. When he was fighting Tom Aspinall, we saw how that fight was starting to look. But listen, I think this is a fantastic fight. I'm not counting anyone out here. I'm not counting Alex Pereira out here because Alex Pereira does have the power to really change things. We felt this way when Alex Pereira said he was wanting to go to light heavyweight. Now he dominated that way.
The fight is locked in. Alex Pereira versus Ciryl Gane is officially happening, and the MMA world is completely split on who takes this one. Some see Pereira walking forward like a Terminator and eventually catching Pereira clean. Others think Guy footwork makes this fight awkward as hell.
It's gonna be an interesting fight though. I think Alex Pereira is very tough. He's big enough. He's a heavyweight. But in this scenario, the position shifted a little bit because Ciryl Gane here come more with a strategy of a lighter person because he moves a lot, he's fast and this. And I think Alex Pereira will be like most stiff, stable, and strong, solid. Ciryl will be more fast, moving around, as is his technique. He's good at that. And then it's going to be very difficult to Alex Pereira to even get close to the distance to figure out what he can do, like just to get in the distance, you know, to get close to that, to close that distance, which Ciryl will be managing very good to keep the distance, pick apart, get him frustrated. He's good at that. So I think he's a very good matchup for.
Here's what's wild, though. There's no clear favorite here. And that's exactly what makes this matchup so insane to break down. Two completely different styles, two different approaches, and everyone from former champions to analysts can't agree on how this plays out.
Well, we will not undermine the fact that Ciryl also is doing it. He's training. He's been very serious on his ground game. He's been evolving. He's been improving. Like, by the way, even in our fight 4 years ago, I was impressed that he was trying the heel locks, you know, stuff like that. I know that was something that he could have come up with, but I was still impressed at time. And since then, I think also after the John fight, he went to Dagestan on this wrestling stuff. I think he's a very complete MMA fighter. I think you will be mistaken to just see him as a striker, as this. The fact that he's just such a good striker make people underestimate his ground game and oversee his ground game, you know, on the look.
Francis Ngannou sees Pereira as the bigger, stronger, more devastating puncher. Makes sense. But here's where it gets interesting. He says Gi fights like a lightweight trapped in a heavyweight's body, always moving, never staying still long enough for you to tee off on him.
Amazing. I'm leaning towards Alex Pereira here to get it done against Ciryl Gane. I think he's going to be too much on the front foot, track the cage. I don't think Ciryl Gane's going to be used to a guy with the skill level of Alex Pereira. He's never fought someone with that ability in his life. And Volkov has good technical ability on the feet, and he beat Ciryl Gane in their last fight and did very well on the feet against him as well. So when he finds someone who can really cut off the cage like Pereira and really punish him, Gane hasn't got the first round finish ability that Aspinall does to make him a threat to a guy like Alex Pereira. He also doesn't really have the offensive wrestling game to make him a threat to a guy like Alex Pereira either. He could get it done. He has good backwards movement. He floats around well on the back foot. He does it better than Jamal Hill, if we're being honest. Gane is one of the rare heavyweights that actually really does have a good technical base for the heavyweight division. He just lacks that KO power and lacks that ability to just nuke someone in the first 2 minutes. He's never really been able to do it throughout his entire career. And I would, off the top of my head, I can't think of a time that Gane has got a first 2 minute of the fight finish like a guy like Aspinall or Ngannou has.
The main problem, Francis points out, distance management. Pereira has to get close to do his damage, but Gane is elite at keeping that space and making you chase him around the octagon. That can frustrate Pereira big time if he can't set his feet and get into his rhythm.
And Ciryl, it's not, okay? Yeah. I still think it's a tremendous fight. I think in some ways it's a better fight. We said this on the post-fight show. I said it on the YouTube video, and people were like, oh yeah, you would say that, company man. No, listen, Jones, it would be a spectacle, and it would be great to see Pereira versus Jones. Of course it would. But in terms of, you all just shit, and everyone's been shitting on Charles Oliveira taking down Max Holloway. Do you not think John Jones would take down Alex Pereira? Of course, that would be the strategy. I'm not saying Pereira can't stop a takedown, but that's what he's going to try and do, because on the feet, Pereira could very well knock him out. Well, Ciryl Gane and Alex Pereira, they're going to put on one.
But wait, it gets better. Francis pushes back hard on anyone calling Gane just a striker. He makes it clear that Gane's ground game has been developing for years. Way more complete than people think. He's not some one-dimensional point fighter anymore.
You know, we have weight classes for a reason. There's also a reason why no one's become a 3-weight division champion.
Yeah,
he couldn't make 185 by almost killing himself. Now he's going up to heavy, where it's not. I mean, naturally he walks around as a heavyweight, but he's not naturally a heavyweight fighter. So what will happen? He'll be heavier, which will slow you down a bit. He will have I think, extra power. I still think he can take the shots. I think he's still got the power to knock out heavyweights. But Ciryl Gane, in his DNA, is a gigantic, bona fide, legit heavyweight that just so happens to be very, very light on the feet, incredibly fast, can move around, you know, all over the place, shaking and baking, jigging and jiving, moving and grooving, whatever else you want to say, right? Yeah. I think that's a big advantage.
Now here's where MMA Guru sees it differently. He thinks the pressure Pereira brings is unlike anything Gane has dealt with before. It's not just moving forward. It's the way Pereira systematically cuts off space and controls fights through positioning and pure threat.
Yeah, no, I think you're right with that. That it's definitely going to be a much more competitive, much more exciting affair. Whereas even if Pereira had success against Jon Jones, you're right, a lot of that time would be spent at some point defending some sort of takedown or not defending the takedowns and getting taken down, waiting for his opportunity in the next round to be able to strike. This is going to be a big boys kickboxing in there. We saw how good Ciryl Gane looked when he was fighting Tom Aspinall before the eye pokes. He was landing good shots. He's athletic. He can move. These are two heavyweights that can move and can strike. It's going to be a battle.
Gane is used to fighting guys who move with him, light on their feet, using mobility. But Pereira, he's not letting you circle out endlessly. And here's the kicker: Gane doesn't carry that early knockout threat. He can't flip a fight in the first minute with one explosive moment.
This one's surprising. Ciryl Gane, minus 160. It's only a slight underdog, favorite, but still a favorite. Alex Pereira, plus 140. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think that's kind of accurate. And I think that's a lot of it is we're basing the fact that he's moving up to heavyweight, Pereira. He really started off as a middleweight. Now, granted, he's a much bigger man now, and I don't think there's any world in which he could go back down to 185 pounds. But still, you're going from I was able to make middleweight to now I'm fighting at heavyweight, where these men are huge. And again, Ciryl Gane is used to the threat of nasty power coming his way.
Michael Bisping thinks this matchup is actually more interesting than the Jon Jones fight everyone wanted. Why? Because Jones would just wrestle Pereira and turn it into a grinding match. With Gane, it stays on the feet where Pereira can actually show what he does best.
This fight was, so on Friday I was told this fight was the main event, Ciryl and Alex, and I thought that was honestly a disaster for the White House. I did not like that as a main event for it at all. Yeah. And then it seemed like it wasn't on the card at all. And then it was suddenly the co-main, and I was surprised by it. And I thought that was a fantastic addition. Like, having it as the co-main, I think makes the card. To be honest, it's like the extra fight. I saw Ariel Helwani today. Like, to have Ilia Topuria and Alex Pereira on the same card is actually.
But Bisping isn't sleeping on the size difference. Gane is a natural heavyweight. He moves fast for someone that size. Pereira moving up sounds exciting, but you're adding weight to your frame and facing someone who's been operating at heavyweight his whole UFC career. Paul Felder sees this as way more competitive than people think. Round by round, both guys have clear paths to victory. And since it's mostly going to be striking exchanges, Pereira gets real chances to find his rhythm and land something devastating. Here's what analysts are really saying, though. Even if Gane starts well and takes early rounds with his movement, Pereira has a way of figuring things out late. People see it playing out where Pereira might struggle early, then slowly close the gap and eventually land something that changes everything. So there you have it. Pereira moving up again, trying to prove his knockout power works against natural heavyweights. Gane using his technical precision and movement to make it a long, awkward fight. This isn't just power versus movement, it's two completely different philosophies clashing. Who do you think takes it? The knockout artist moving up or the technical heavyweight? Drop your prediction in the comments. Smash that like button if this breakdown helped you see both sides. And subscribe because this fight is going to be absolutely wild when it goes down.